Hi, Pam. Can you hear me? Just bear with me a second getting things set up on my end. Hey, it's Shel Anderson from Shel's Crave Corner and Shel Anderson Designs. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I blog at shelscreativecorner.blogspot.com and I can be reached anytime by email at andersonshel@gmail.com. I'd like to thank you for joining me this morning for Stamp with Shel. Today we are going to have a fun, have some fun. I'm going to teach you something that I've never taught before. It's super easy, but it's really, really cool. We're making 2 cards, and we're going to use the Playful alphabet dies and the Best Year stamp set. Hey Denise, how you doing? Thanks for joining. All right. Before we get started, I've got 2 matters of business. The first thing is my Stampin' tip for today. Tip number 14 is to use a plastic spoon to push the ink into your ink pad when you're re-inking it. Or if your ink pad is too juicy, just do the same thing. Push the ink down to the bottom of the pad with a plastic spoon. So that's your tip. And I have something to show you. I was able to get my hands on the new 6x6 DSP stacks that are going to be coming out in the annual catalog in May. And I wanted to show you guys these gorgeous, gorgeous papers. Check out these papers. This is the Bright stack. Aren't they gorgeous? This is my favorite pattern. This one and this one. I love them both. But it's just fabulous, fabulous paper this time. That's all Brights. There's 48 sheets in a pack. These are our Regals. How rich and deep color those are. This is our Neutrals. Oops, 2 pages stuck together. Love the espresso. And now we're on to Subtles. And finally, the 2020-2022 in colors. Now, obviously, I haven't been able to get my hands on the new in colors yet because they won't announce those until the catalog goes live. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a peek at what's coming in May. You got yours too, Denise. That's great. All right, so the supplies for today's cards. I have a bunch of strips of scrap paper here. And these ones are a 1/2 inch. These ones are 1/4 inch. I'm just going to keep, I don't even know if I'm going to use those ones or not, to tell you the truth. And I have 2 card bases in Night of Navy, standard card bases. Then I have 2 pieces of just scrap. No, sorry, that's a matte layer. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I believe. 4 1/4 by, no, 4 by 5 1/4. That's a matte layer in real red. This is just a piece of scrap. This is the piece that we are going to work on today. And you see me, you hear me pausing because I am looking for my silicone mat. It has grown legs once again and took a trip. never fear, I have an old one that's back up. All right, now I also have here a piece of our adhesive sheets. There's 12 of these in a package. Item number is 152334. These are going to be fabulous for this card. Now this, I'm going to preface this to say that this piece of paper is bigger than what I'm going to need, okay? And I've cut this piece to the actual size that we're going to need. And there's adhesive on both sides of this. So I am going to pull off and there's perforations on the back here. I'm going to pull off the first two panels so that the adhesive shows. Hey Darlene, glad you could make it. And I am going to just put this right at the top of this card and over to one side as best as I can. And we're just going to push that down onto the card. And then I'm going to lift this one and continue to push it. All right, so that is adhered to our card. I'm just going to take a bone folder and push over that so that adhesive is going to stick really nice to that card. And then we're going to take, if we had fingernails we could take, there we go, this second backer paper off, and that's going to reveal all the adhesive. So that's going to make our job really easy when it comes to sticking down our strips. And what I'm going to do is just off to the side here, I'm going to try to figure out a pattern that I want on my card front before I go sticking it down. Need a little bit of a game plan, I guess you'd say. I think I'm going to change things up a little bit. Blue, gray, black, red. I'll put red here. Blue, gray, black, red, blue. All right, we're going to try this. So now we're just going to stick these. I'm going to turn this around, start at this end. We are going to stick these on our card, and we can have them hanging over both sides, and we just press it down in. And that makes it super easy. We just butt the second one right up against the first one. And then gray one. See how easy that is with the adhesive sheets? Now if you don't have the adhesive sheets, you can use your glue. Just make sure that, because we're going to do something to this when we have it all together. So you have to make sure that you have lots of adhesive on there so that it doesn't fall apart when we do the second step. And I just pulled these pieces out of my scrap bin. And I hope I have enough here. Oops. Oh yeah, we're gonna have lots. looking for my tape runner right in front of me. I'm just gonna run a little bit on there. I don't think we're gonna need this last one, but if we do, I want it all attached well. All right, so we have a hot mess, right? So now we are going to bring in our paper trimmer and we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by 5. Now let's see how that's going to work out. All right, I didn't think we were going to need that last one. Okay, so there is a panel that you could very easily use on your card front as is, if you so desired. Okay, we could just do this super easily, put a greeting on there and we're good to go. We're not doing that. We are going to play a little bit. We are going to cut a shape out of the front of this. Now, I've already done one set of these cards, which I'll show you at the end of the video. And I used circles for that card. So we're going to use squares, I think. I haven't thought this one all out, but I think we're going to use squares. And I think I'm going to go on an angle like so. I think. All right. So I need to bring in, I think I can fit this in my mini. Let me just grab a plate and see. No, I cannot. So I have to bring in the big boss. Right, I'm just going to move that mat out of the way and grab some plates. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is die cut this. And because I want this, I want it pretty much centered top to bottom and side to side. So my points here are both on the navy strip and just touching like so. That's not centered. I better turn this around so I can see. I'm too high. There we go. That's better. So because we're die cutting this panel out, that explains to you why we needed to have that adhered really well, all those strips, because if you miss one spot, you're going to have little pieces popping off, and you don't want that. I think it's done, but I'm going to run it through one more time just to make sure, because there's 2 layers there. There we go. All right, got fuzzies on my card, but we'll take care of that. All right, I'm going to move this big boy out of the way. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to bring it back in. And I am going to grab another piece of scrap. Perhaps, let me see. perhaps this navy, and I am going to put the scalloped square and the square we just used together, and I'm going to make a frame. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I'm going to see what it's going to look like. Alright, so there's the little frame that we made. Now I'll move this out of the way. Okay, now I have to get my eraser. I've got a couple of little fuzzies from die cutting that are stuck to my paper. There we go. And we'll take those off. And this was my thought, that I could have this little frame around here. But we have to continue our journey because we're going to use the Playful alphabet. And we are going to use the word love. So L-O-V-E. And now I'm going to bring in my mini. We have to make sure when we do this that we have this triangle going the right way. You want to be able to match your stripes. If I was to cut my letters this way, it would not look nice. It's going to look funny, right? So we're going to match our letters, or our stripes, this way. So this is the orientation that I have to cut my letters. All right. Now we need some cutting pads. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here in the right direction, and we're going to cut the letters love out of the middle. You could cut whatever word you wanted out of here, as long as it fits. That's the key. If this was bigger, we could do happy, but it's not. No gluing. You are correct, Pam. No gluing is a good thing. Those adhesive sheets are a godsend. Alright, looks good. Now I can move this little buddy out of the way. And we can pop those little letters out. And if you're using the letter O, make sure you keep the middle of your O. You don't want to lose it. Because your O looks funny unless you put your circle back in there. All right, now we need to pop these out because we're going to use these. Isn't that cool? Oops, running away from me. All right, now let me get those letters back in this case. All right. let's bring back in a card base. This one will be able to go directly on this card front if we so chose, but I'm going to put a matte layer behind there, and I think I am going to choose gray, and I used basic gray last time, so that's what I'll use underneath. Oops, upside down. So I'm just going to cut this 3.5. Because basically all we're using this for is to put oh no, I did that wrong. Oops. Let's try again. Let's do this because I wanted it as a matte layer as well. Let's go 4 1/4. Four by 5 1/4. I promise you I did sleep last night. Okay. So this is what I want to do. I want to put this matte layer behind it, okay? And I'm going to glue this flat down. So I am using my Tombow. And just try to center that up as best as we can. Like so. And then give it a good press. And then this layer, we could pop this one up if we wanted to. I'm going to glue it flat because this is going to be a pretty thick card because there's lots of layers to it. All right, so this is how I thought I would. That is not the right color. It's a different color of navy. Can you tell the difference in that? Look at the difference in the color. Huh. Must have got a different dye lot. I will cut another one of those here in a moment. In the meantime, we are going to put our letters on. I'm just going to grab my tweezers. And we're going to put our letters across here. Not there. It's not where it was intended. Just remember you're continuing this line with your eyes, okay? So you're trying to get your letters as lined up as you can going across there. Actually, I'm going to put the E on next. So that I have a good idea on placement for the middle letters, like spacing. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to lay the V in there. Lay the O in there just to give me an idea. All right. Heavens, I got the shakes this morning. I think I need to have another little sip of coffee here. Old Olive have done it too, Denise? Well, that's the first time I've seen it, but I'm sure it could happen. I know that when you buy yarn, sometimes you have problems with, yeah, they did you see what I just did? I was trying to put that back in that one. It's for that one. Okay, so now we need to find the same color, Night of Navy. Let me pull out this. That is the same color. Alright, bring in my die so I have an idea. There we go. Now we can cut another frame out of that so that it will match. Alright. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't notice that when I cut it the first time. Yes, you should send me some Tim's. Actually, I just made a coffee. It's not Tim's, but it's coffee. All right. Let's do another frame. What am I doing wrong? It feels wrong. No, this should be right. There we go. All right, we don't need that square. There's our frame. Let me get this little machine out of the way. And we can put this guy on like so. All right, now let me get that lined up as perfectly as I can. And now I need to take my glue eraser to this little spot where I dropped that letter. Erase that. All right, now we need the word you. So for that, I have chosen the Best Year stamp set. I like this big U. You could put hey you, hey love. You could make whatever you want for a greeting. And I am just going to stamp this on a little scrap of Whisper White. And I'm not being too fussy about placement because I am going to cut it out. Real Red, where are you? There you are. We'll ink that word up. And stamp it a couple of times. You do, Darlene? Really? Is one more red than the other? Because I found that chocolate chip. I loved that color so much. I was so sad when that retired. but I found that some of those chocolate, like the marker and the ink, were a little darker than the paper to start with. I found that the paper was just a little bit more red. All right. And I have a little bit of gray here. I think I am going to mat this. I'm just going to glue this on and mat it so it pops a little bit. And then I'm just going to fussy cut that out too. All right, let me move this. I'm just going to leave that stamp right on there for a minute. You're not going to believe this. I found my mat. It's sitting right on my desktop beside me. I guess I couldn't see for looking when I was looking for that silicone mat. I guess I really didn't need to mat that because it's going gray on gray, but oh well, I did. All right. So now, this is kind of designed for a guy. That's what I had in mind. I'm going to use some of the matte black dots, surprise, surprise, to embellish this. Just to give it a little something, something. Over here. Great. So there is our first card, but don't leave me. We've got one more to make, and we have two other ones that I have to show you. All right. Set this aside, and we're going to pull in that second card base. And the square that we had here, and I'm going to grab, actually I'm not, I am going to grab my ruler. Where is it? Right here. Just want to measure this. This is 2.5. So I am going to grab a piece of navy, and we are going to cut a 2 3/4 inch square. I have trouble with guy cards, Darlene, to tell you the truth. I make so many cards, but guy cards are the hard ones for me. All right, so see how I'm going here? We are just going to use our leftovers. Let's glue this onto that square, diamond, whatever we want to call it. And we're going to pop this on here, like so. Just hold that there a minute. And now I'll put some glue on the back of this dot. And we're going to put that back in place so that the word love looks right. Okay, now this one I think I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. Just to make it a bit different. Now we'll glue this. I could actually emboss this if we wanted. I think I'll just glue it flat for this morning. Like so. All right, now once again we have to stamp that U. And once again, I'm going to do it in red. I like the way it pops in that red. All right. Clean up our mess. Let's get this out of the way. And put that stamp back in the pack. And once again, we need to fussy cut this just a little bit. And this time I'm going to put it on the blue. I don't know about you guys, but I love the way that red, white, and blue look together. And I think I'm going to pop this one up just because I can. Now, how cool would that be to pop in your husband's lunchbox to surprise him? And another tip, this piece here, I kept this for a reason. If you, when you're doing the inside of your card, you keep this. When you're doing the inside of the card, you can put that strip on your piece of white that goes on the inside to decorate the inside of your card as well. So when you have those cutoffs, just hang on to them because we can do something with it. All right, there you have those two. We best put some dots on here just to make it happy. Or maybe it's make me happy, I don't know. Because these matte black dots seem to make me very happy. All right, there's our two guy cards. Now I'm going to bring in the two cards that I made last night. These are our two girl cards. Here's our first one. This one says miss you, and I did that with the circle. And I used, on this one, I used Winkastella on the greetings. And these are the, those new opal rounds. They're gorgeous. And then this is the second card. And I used Winkastella through the holes of this one and on the greeting as well. So the opportunities are endless, ladies, depending on what words you want on your card. You could put, if you made it big enough, your die cut, you could put happy, you could put like happy birthday, you could do whatever you want. Anyway, that's my inspiration for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all soon. Fingers crossed. Stay safe, my friends. Bye-bye for now.